General Hospital spoilers reveal that Kelly Thiebaud is officially making her highly anticipated return to General Hospital as Britt, and the news has sent fans into a frenzy. After months of speculation and endless hopes from viewers, the confirmation that Britt will once again walk the halls of Port Charles is nothing short of groundbreaking. This isn't just another character comeback, it's a major shift in the landscape of GH, one that is bound to bring new drama, unanswered questions, and unexpected alliances. With Britt's return, old wounds will be reopened, old flames may reignite, and new rivalries could emerge, making her comeback one of the most thrilling events in recent memory. The timing of Britt's return couldn't be more intriguing. With Jason already back in Port Charles, the potential for a complicated and emotional reunion is stronger than ever. Fans have long speculated about what could have been between Jason and Britt if circumstances had been different. Now, with Jason re-establishing himself in town, Britt's return throws a wild card into his life. Will their connection pick up where it left off, or will past heartbreak and new complications stand in the way? Jason isn't the same man he was when Britt last saw him, and she, too, has been through significant changes. Could they find their way back to each other, or will fate once again tear them apart? Beyond her relationship with Jason, Britt's return also raises questions about where she stands within the hospital. She was once the chief of staff, but a lot has changed since she was last in charge. Will she be welcomed back with open arms, or will she have to fight for her place in a hospital that has moved on without her? Her medical expertise has always been respected, but her past mistakes, particularly those tied to her Cassadine roots, may still haunt her. If Britt is back for good, she will have to prove herself all over again, both professionally and personally. Another layer of mystery surrounding Britt's return is why she's coming back now. Is she returning for unfinished business, or is there something more sinister at play? Port Charles is no stranger to secrets, and if Britt has been keeping one of her own, it could have major ramifications for multiple characters. Could she have been in hiding? Did she uncover something shocking that forced her to return? Or is someone from her past pulling the strings, drawing her back into the fold for reasons she doesn't yet understand? Her relationships with other key players in town will also be impacted. Will she reconnect with Maxie, one of the few people who ever truly understood her? How will she react to Nina, who has been entangled in countless scandals since Britt left? And what about Carly, a woman who has never fully trusted Britt but may now have to deal with her presence once again? With so many storylines intersecting, Britt's return has the potential to shake up nearly every aspect of Port Charles. One of the biggest questions, of course, is whether Britt is truly back for good or if her return will come with an expiration date. While fans are ecstatic to see Kelly Thiebaud reprise the role, the circumstances surrounding Britt's reappearance remain unclear. Will she be staying long-term, or does she have unfinished business that will only allow her to remain for a short while? And if her time in Port Charles is limited, what impact will she leave behind when she eventually departs once again? What's clear is that Britt's return is more than just a simple homecoming. It's a moment that will redefine relationships, spark new drama, and alter the course of GH in ways that no one sees coming. There is an intensity in the air, a feeling that whatever brings Britt back is tied to something much bigger than anyone realizes. And as the details begin to unfold, one thing is certain: Port Charles is about to get a whole lot more interesting. For longtime fans, this is the moment they've been waiting for. For newcomers, it's an introduction to one of GH's most complex and unpredictable characters. No matter which way the story goes, one fact remains undeniable: Britt's return is set to be one of the biggest game changers General Hospital has seen in a long time. And if history has taught us anything, it's that wherever Britt goes, trouble and excitement are never far behind. Britt's return to General Hospital is not just a coincidence, it's a necessity. With Jason back in Port Charles, the need for her presence has never been greater. His world is shifting, his actions are being scrutinized, and the life he once knew is no longer as stable as it once was. Britt has always been one of the few people who could challenge Jason in ways others couldn't, and now, as he navigates his new reality, her return could mean the beginning of something entirely unexpected. But Britt isn't just coming back for Jason. She has her own reasons, her own unfinished business, and she isn't alone. Liesl, her fiercely protective mother, is also ready to make an impact, ensuring that Britt's return is felt across Port Charles. Liesl has never been one to stand idly by, and if she has anything to say about it, Britt's comeback will not go unnoticed. Whether that means stepping in to guide her daughter, interfering in Jason's affairs, or causing trouble of her own, Liesl's presence adds another explosive layer to this already shocking development. The biggest question surrounding Britt's return isn't just why she's back, but what she's about to set in motion. If Jason's return is already shaking up the power dynamics in Port Charles, Britt's presence will only intensify the chaos. She has always been unpredictable, torn between her brilliant medical career and the pull of the Cassadine and Westbourne legacies that seem to follow her no matter where she goes. Is she here to reclaim her place at the hospital? To protect Jason from forces he doesn't yet see coming? Or does she have her own hidden agenda, one that will unravel secrets that have been buried for far too long? One of the most intriguing aspects of Britt's return is her potential involvement in Jason's life. He has already returned to a world that is vastly different from the one he left, and with his loyalties being tested, Britt's reappearance could change everything. Will she stand by him, helping him navigate the new challenges ahead? Or will she become another complication in his already messy world, challenging his choices in ways that force him to confront his own weaknesses? But Jason isn't the only one affected by Britt's return. Liesl's role in all of this cannot be ignored. She has been in the shadows, watching, waiting, and now, she may see Britt's return as the perfect opportunity to push her daughter in a new direction. Liesl has always believed in Britt's strength, but she also knows how easily Britt can be swayed by emotions, especially when it comes to Jason. If Liesl has her way, Britt won't just be coming back as the woman Jason once cared for, she will be returning as a force of her own, someone who is no longer defined by the relationships of her past but by the choices she makes for herself. The impact of Britt's return will send shockwaves throughout Port Charles. How will Carly react to her presence, knowing that Jason's attention might be divided? What about Nina, who still carries the weight of past decisions that could put her at odds with Britt once again? And then there's Maxie, one of Britt's closest friends. Will they pick up where they left off, or has time and distance changed them both? This isn't just a simple homecoming. Britt's return is a catalyst for something bigger. It is a shift in the balance of power, a disruption in the plans of those who thought they had everything figured out. The decisions she makes in the coming weeks will not only redefine her own future but could also alter the lives of everyone around her. The stakes have never been higher, and as Britt steps back into Port Charles, one thing is clear, she is not the same woman who left. The question now is, what does she want, and how far is she willing to go to get it? Whatever the answer may be, one thing is certain, Britt's return will be anything but quiet, and the fallout from her decisions will be felt for a long time to come. General Hospital is about to get a whole lot more interesting. Britt is in desperate need of a new storyline, and if Jason's current enemy is none other than Sidwell, then her return could be the catalyst for one of the most intense and dangerous battles General Hospital has seen in years. This isn't just about rekindling old feelings or finding her place in Port Charles again, this is about stepping into a storm that has already been set in motion, one that is spiraling out of control with each passing day. And with Jason at the center of it, Britt may find herself drawn into something far bigger and more treacherous than she ever anticipated. Sidwell is not an ordinary adversary. He is calculated, ruthless, and strategic, weaving his web of manipulation with an expertise that makes him far more dangerous than any of Jason's previous enemies. He doesn't just attack physically, he dismantles from the inside, using deception, blackmail, and psychological warfare to break his opponents before they even realize what's happening. If Jason is his main target, then Britt's return could become another pawn in his twisted game, whether she realizes it or not. But Britt is no pawn. She has always been a wild card, someone who refuses to be controlled. If she senses the danger surrounding Jason, she won't just sit on the sidelines, she will get involved, whether Jason wants her to or not. The history between them is complicated, filled with unresolved tension and deep emotions that neither of them ever truly confronted. But now, with Jason backed into a corner and Sidwell tightening his grip on Port Charles, Britt's presence could be the one thing that changes the game entirely. The stakes have never been higher. Jason is already dealing with mounting threats, and his enemies are closing in on him faster than ever before. Liesl, always protective of her daughter, will undoubtedly have something to say about Britt aligning herself with Jason once again. Will she warn Britt to stay away, fearing for her safety? Or will she, in true Liesl fashion, offer her own brand of interference, making the situation even more complicated? Meanwhile, Sidwell will see Britt's return as an opportunity. He may try to use her as leverage, digging into her past, finding weaknesses he can exploit to use against Jason. And if Britt gets too close to the truth, she may find herself in more danger than she ever expected. Could Sidwell see her as a threat and try to eliminate her before she becomes a problem? Or will he try to manipulate her into turning against Jason, using whatever secrets he unearths to sow doubt between them? As Britt steps back into Jason's life, the chaos will only grow. Carly will have her own opinions, and knowing her, she won't hesitate to voice them. She has always been protective of Jason, and if she sees Britt as a distraction, or worse, as a liability, she may try to shut the door on any possible rekindling of their connection. But Britt isn't the same woman she was before, and she isn't about to let Carly dictate her choices. The biggest question remains: what role will Britt truly play in this war between Jason and Sidwell? Will she stand by Jason's side, becoming a crucial ally in the fight against a man who is proving to be one of his most formidable enemies yet? Or will she find herself trapped in Sidwell's web, unknowingly becoming a piece in his larger plan? One thing is certain: Britt's return is about to shake things up in ways that no one saw coming. The tension in Port Charles is already at a boiling point, and with Jason facing the fight of his life, her presence will either be his greatest strength or his most dangerous distraction. As the power struggle intensifies, as Sidwell's grip tightens, and as Jason's enemies multiply, Britt will have to make a choice, one that could change everything. Will she fight alongside Jason, risking everything to stand with him against an enemy more dangerous than either of them expected? Or will she become collateral damage in a war that has already claimed too much? No matter how it plays out, one thing is undeniable: Britt is back, and nothing in Port Charles will ever be the same again. Sidwell is playing a dangerous game, one that threatens to reshape everything in General Hospital, and this time, he's using the dark legacy of Peter to ensnare Britt in a new nightmare. Britt has fought hard to escape the shadow of her past, trying to distance herself from Peter's crimes and the chaos he left behind. But Sidwell, ever the strategist, has found a way to resurrect those buried demons, ensuring that Britt can no longer run from what she tried to forget. By unearthing Peter's secrets, Sidwell isn't just attacking Britt, he's turning her into a pawn in a much larger game. If he has information that implicates her, whether directly or indirectly, in Peter's crimes, she may find herself backed into a corner with no easy way out. The timing of this couldn't be worse. Britt has just returned to Port Charles, trying to reclaim her life, and now she is forced to confront a past she thought she had left behind. The worst part? Jason, the one person she thought she could trust, is now the very man she may have to betray in order to survive. Sidwell has always played the long game, and now, he has managed to pit Jason against Britt in a way that neither of them saw coming. Jason, already dealing with mounting threats, suddenly finds himself unsure of whether he can truly trust Britt. If Sidwell has twisted the narrative, making it seem as though Britt is working against Jason, the fallout will be devastating. Does Jason still see her as an ally, or will he be forced to view her as someone who has unknowingly become a weapon for Sidwell? The real horror of this situation is that Britt may not even have a choice. If Sidwell has uncovered something damning, evidence, secrets, or even unfinished business from Peter, he could force her into a position where she has to betray Jason to save herself. The tension between them will grow unbearable, the weight of unspoken truths and past wounds pressing down on them both. But Jason isn't the only one affected by Sidwell's twisted game. Liesl is also being pulled into the fray. Liesl has spent her entire life protecting Britt, even when Britt refused to accept that protection. Now, as she watches her daughter become entangled in yet another dangerous situation, she knows she cannot sit back and do nothing. For the first time, Liesl and Jason must work together, forming an uneasy but necessary alliance. Jason may not fully trust Liesl, and Liesl may see Jason as part of the problem, but they both share a common goal: protecting Britt from whatever Sidwell has planned. Liesl, ever the brilliant strategist herself, may see weaknesses in Sidwell's plan that Jason overlooks. Meanwhile, Jason's ability to move through Port Charles's underworld undetected may give them the upper hand in uncovering Sidwell's true motives. But the problem is, they don't have time. Sidwell is already 2 steps ahead, and if they don't act fast, Britt could be lost forever. Either consumed by the weight of her past, or forced into a position where she can never truly return to the person she once was. As Sidwell tightens his grip, Britt is left with impossible choices. If she defies him, she risks her own freedom. If she complies, she may lose Jason forever. And if Liesl and Jason don't move quickly enough, they may not be able to save her from the consequences of whatever dark secret Sidwell is holding over her. This isn't just another battle in Port Charles, it's a war for control, and Sidwell has masterfully placed himself in a position where every move leads to destruction. Jason's sense of loyalty is being tested like never before. Liesl's love for her daughter is pushing her to extremes. And Britt? Britt is standing on the edge of something truly terrifying. As the pieces continue to fall into place, one thing is clear: Sidwell has set a trap so intricate, so ruthless, that escaping it may be impossible. The question now is, who will fall first? Port Charles is on the brink of chaos, and this time, the lines between friend and foe have never been more blurred.